could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check as I'm chess, what's happening next? He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds, they can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 Cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a fucking name, I just wanna be famous. But I don't want that cheap fame, no, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself. I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head, constantly thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase a bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. I'll give up everything. If I could see my dreams, make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what a reality. Don't let go. I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what a reality.
I just wanna find a way out, sick of the venom in my brain. Running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this. I just wanna break these chains. Always asking for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many once that I so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started the outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
Just gonna remind you. I was going to just drop in and drop a like. Logan, hello.
Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Twitch. Good morning, Kick. Sorry. How's it, Jeff? I'll go ahead and pull you all the way down there, Chief. Back on one side there, so that's how you look. Good, look good. Okay, let me see. Could you... It went away? What? What? Yeah, Chief, for whatever reason, it stopped sharing on the Video Ninja. It must be on your end. Hey, Flo, good morning.
Yo.
I'll share the other one as well, okay? That's fine. Yeah, go ahead and share whatever one it is, and I'll pull it back up, Chief. But as of right now, I need the link to run it back up. Or, nah, it'll probably be the same, so whenever you do it. Yeah, Jeff, I mean, here after bed, I mean, that's happens with the With the market currently. I wish I would have kept some of them lines up on my chart now, Manpour, because now I've got lines above me that I don't know how to turn back on. I didn't know we were going to go this high.
Nope.
I'll just pay attention to the structure itself rather than even using any lines.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease,
Yeah, I don't know either, Chief the Beast. No worries if it doesn't work, I guess, but it should just share like it did before, I imagine. You're back, Chief, it looks like. It is working now. Sorry, I wasn't...
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't know it was back. Alright, looks good, looks good. Hey, Brazzy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Big pump candle. Don't we have news at 10?
Yep.
Okay. So... get more of a move. Probably the 0.5. Our line here is exactly at the 0.5. Makes a lot of sense. You already know. So are we just, is it at full port Wednesday? Is today Wednesday? Day full port today, Manpour?
Full port Tuesday.
Okay, so we're gonna full, all right, so we're full porting, guys. Which way you want to go? No. Did you take a trade on that big bump candle? No, I did not take a trade on that bump. No, but yes, the setup was there, and yes, it was a trade, and yes, it was a good entry. I wasn't looking.
No, I missed it.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't looking, so I missed the trade. Yep, sadly. Yes, it was a setup. Yep, you can see it on the screen. See the buys above. So you got to buy above. You got the bottom wick, and then you got the flip and the move up. So that was a perfect.
Yeah, well, that's part of the strategy. So yes, that is a close above that level, a retrace of that level, and then break of the high, and off you go to the races.
Yep, exactly, and that's what we expect. Just what you see there, that big pump candle. If you'll notice, when we're taking advantage of these stop losses, right, you're going to see big moves like that. We're expecting the big candle to happen when we enter, right? That's the whole thing, so that we can take advantage of it. But it is not support and resistance, Browsy. I mean, that's you're paying attention to market structure, so in terms, you're paying attention to, you know, support and resistance, which is the same thing as supply and demand, essentially, because you're in the same area, which is the same thing as order blocks, essentially, because you're in the same area. I mean, I guess you can say whatever you want as far as how to label it, but at the end of the day, we're looking for stop losses. We're not looking for where a support area is or resistance area is in thoughts of entry. Like most guys say, okay, here's supply and demand, and they you hit a supply area and they short, just like an order block. You hit the order block, you short, or you hit the 0.5 of the order block, you short. We don't trade that way. That's where it becomes so much different. They're trading predictions. They're trading the fact that they just expect that something's going to happen there because they've got a line or whatever else. And again, for everybody that does that, I'm not saying it's wrong. That's just not the way I trade, right? I'm trading reactions, not predictions. Essentially, we're looking, like that video says, Presley, we're looking for it to come up, grab stop losses above the level, come back down, grab stop losses the other way. That's your whole point of a bottom wick. And then to flip bullish again, break its own highs in order to push in your direction. And this is the same thing if you're going short, same thing if you're going long, same thing if you're going short below buys above close. And that's where everybody gets so confused. Why? Because essentially it's similar to what we learned in tactical analysis, which was wick above, close below. You know, a lot of people use that. Yep. A lot of people use that terminology, but or probably not a lot. Tactical analysis was probably the only one that did, but essentially that would be considered like a fake out, I guess, in breakout traders terminology. They'll go along there and then say, oh, well, I got faked out. So that's a different thing, but we're always looking for closures so you don't have a issue with fake outs or breakouts or whatever. And that's why we trade different than them. Some people say, oh, well, you're a breakout trader. And no, not necessarily, because a breakout trader, every time it breaks a level and goes up, they just trade it up. You know what I mean? So it's different. Those white lines, how do I find them? Them are ranges, right? So you're looking for market structure, previous market structure, and where we want to trade them, right, is where you have clean recovery. So you're looking for big candles, if you understand vector candles, or if you understand fast move, false move, then that's what you're looking for. Or on a TPO chart, a single prints, or if you understand fair value gaps, these are areas that inefficiencies in the chart, right? So you expect it to be recovered. So essentially that's the areas that we're trying to trade. So what we want is we want stop losses and then a smooth area that is going to be recovered. Hit the stops, it's likely that it moves quick through that area, you know, like cuts through it, you know, like a hot knife through butter or whatever you want to say. Why? Because it's easy to move through those areas. It's not a whole bunch of consolidation or choppy price action that happened there previously. It's a place that price moved through easily in the past. Sense. I don't know why you thought that. People think, oh, I trade support and resistance. People think, oh, you trade supply and demand. People think, oh, you trade breakout trader, this, that, the other. But that's because that's all the terminologies that everybody uses when they think about different ways that they trade. So essentially how I wrap my head around it, right, is you take all these areas and support, resistance, supply, demand, SMC, you know, pattern traders, fib traders, all these things. If you take all these strats and you put them on your chart, right, what you'll see is they enter about the same spot. You know, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be an area where they all enter. But what you'll see is that all their stop losses are in the exact same spot. And this is why you hear so many things about, oh, the price came, it wicked me out, and then it continued in my direction. I got stopped. That's because everybody stops there. Right? So that's what I'm looking for, is an accumulation of orders in one given spot. And normally those come in stop orders. Not always, but normally. So if you get a fake out, per se, as they call it, right? And I use that terminology just because people understand it. But you get a wick above, a close below. Well, what happened? Well, they wicked out the shorts, stopped them. They induced the long traders. Why'd they induce the long traders? Because now the breakout traders went long. So where are their stops at? Back below. Well, how many people come back and re-enter their shorts because now they believe it's going their way? So you're expecting not only the short orders from the guys who re-enter once it comes back down, and you could say level to level, you could say supply flip demand, you can say, you know, not however you want to say it, and then flip back, you could say support resistance traders, you could say order blocks, shorten it back down, so now it's a breaker block. You can come up with all this terminology, right? But at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. It doesn't matter, just the way price moves. Anyway, those orders will help you push back down. So essentially, you come up, you fake out, you come back into that range. What happens? People trade the range back down. So your long orders now are what? They're shorts with their stop losses. So essentially, they are short orders. So now you got the short orders from everybody who's going to short there, and the stop losses, which is the short orders from everybody who went long there. You understand? So that's a bunch of orders sitting there as well. That make any sense? I mean, essentially, that's all they're doing is taking orders, if that makes any sense. It's got nothing to do with stop losses or anything else. The reason that I say stop losses and the reason that I trade stop losses is because all stop losses are clustered together in the same spot on the chart. You know, you can't find everybody's entry order. Why? Because some people trade support and resistance. So it's just a line. Some people trade supply and demand. So it's actually an area. Some people trade order blocks. Some people are breakout traders. Okay? So everybody has a little different entry system. Some people, you know, they take a breakout on a high time frame and then they go down to the lower time frame and they enter off the lower time frame. So their entry may not be exactly the same as another breakout trader's entry. So they're in the same area, but not exactly the same, to where stop losses normally are pretty dang close. Why? Because everybody's putting it above highs, below lows, above structure, they'll say, below structure, above an order block, which is what? Still the same thing. It's all the same thing. Still structure, right? Still the highs. Hopefully that makes some more sense to it. I don't know. Like I said, it's just the way I look at it. I can look at a chart and just, all right. Anyway, guys, he said he'll be back in 20 seconds. I just look at a chart and I can make a, you know, pretty good, you know, thought of where it is on that chart that people are going to be entering and exiting, whether it be, you know, entering with entry orders or entering with stop loss orders. I mean, you basically can see on the chart exactly where that is, especially when we get into these, you know, highs and lows, especially after accumulation or consolidation or distribution, whatever anybody wants to call it, right? Because everybody likes to call these things different at different areas, but essentially the market running sideways. This builds orders. Once the orders are built, you have to hit stop losses. That's just how it always moves. Got an hour close here, guys. Let's see if this hour close will give us anything. I gotta tell you, I'm still a little concerned with this move we've already made. So, friend is your friend, but like 118, 119 tick trends.
Well, what's that saying? Tom Dante always says, "A trend's your friend until the bend and the end." There we
Yeah,
go.
exactly, exactly.
There's the
Whoa,
bend and the
what
end.
was that?
That was just crazy. That was
Was that? Did we
silly.
got a wick up there? That was a wick up, and why is that so fast? Was that new?
No, it was
Oh,
stupid fast.
it's
That's what I do.
news. Okay, yeah, we had news. My bad,
Yep.
my bad. I forgot already. Oh, that was you, Ice, or
No,
Jeff. I see. He did it. It was his buy
that
order.
was a jet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, he went crazy.
He was about to say that too. Braden was about to say it. You guys need to stop moving this market around. And if you are going to move it around, you know, give us a heads up first. Say, all right. That, all joking aside, though, that from what I see was a wick up and then a flip and push down. Obviously, it was way too fast, but that's
That was crazy.
exactly what we're thinking of, right? As you get up here and you're so extended, you expect that you're going to get at least some of this recovered. And that's one of those that you wick the highs, took the stops to come back down. If it happened in regular time rather than news, that would have been something you could have potentially took advantage of. And now we're right here at the gray line. I don't know how well you guys can see them on my gray line there. I was losing my mind there for a minute. Oh my gosh. You're my friend to the very end. Yeah. Oh, you got stream sniped. We're just retesting that daily high. The red line that I got here on my chart, that was the daily high when I got up this morning. Came down, broke it, came back, retested it. We look, right? We watch and see what. Hey, Marco. Good morning. You gonna full port long on GC, Prezi? All right. If that is your following your rules, then yeah, go for it. Setups there, entries there. Have a ball. Does a funded account allow you to use leverage? I am assuming that question is Forex account. I don't know. How does that work, Manpour?
The Forex accounts all have leverage between 1 to 30. And then if you have your own account, you can choose up to 1 to 500, I think. but the prop firms are mostly 1 to 30, 1 to 50, some of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, they asked over in the trading chat. I went ahead and replied to them. I assume they're talking 4x, only because, you know, it's not really leverage is built into futures. So it's like
Yes.
1,000 times leverage, I believe, is what it is, something like that. Trade's not looking well for you? No, I don't imagine so. I think you may be in trouble, Prozzy. If it loses that level there, you're gonna really might even be worse off. You thought you could trust the fair value gap on the lower time frame? Oh. I wouldn't trust much of anything on a low time frame. Just me. I definitely wouldn't trust fair value gaps for just an entry. You have to have more with it than that, Prozzy. You have to you know, you're supposed to add them to other things, not just, you need confluence, right? Many different things. So that's where people get messed up and they'll say things like, oh well, you know, SMC doesn't work or this, that, the other, because they look at a fair value gap and they say, okay, I'm gonna trade a fair value gap. Well, that's not a fair setup, because just trading one thing just doesn't work with any strategy, right? So you have to put all the pieces together. And if you're going to trade SMC, right, Prezi, you need to use all the confluences together. You want to have at least 3-4 things that add up in one place. Yeah, Marco? You don't want to trade SMC. Okay, well, I mean, you were talking about fair value gap, so I just assumed that's what you were trading. But you can't just trade a fair value gap all by itself. That won't work. I want to trade your strategy.
We all do. So we'll just we sit here every day and we learn.
Yeah, everybody learns every day. So I think
And
people are.
Repeats the story over and over, and it's still not in my head. But look,
yeah, you'll get there. I think everybody picks it up more and more every day.
That's the point. Yes. I have that thing, practice makes perfect, and then the other one is practice makes permanent, which means if you do something wrong over and over, it will be stuck in your head.
Yeah.
The best way to put it then is good practice makes perfect. There we go.
Marco, I don't think that's the case. Yeah, you can't make any profit that way. But you won't lose that way. I will tell you that. You won't lose that way, so. Yeah. I think it's much more profitable to trade myself, though. Well, you're not supposed to lose, Rozzy. Where was your... How's your stop already hit? I mean, I guess I don't know what your plan was for that trade there, but if you already got your stop hit, you definitely shouldn't have been in there, because if it holds, it's going to hold right here where we're at. So if you already got stopped, that was not a great stop placement. Okay. Yeah, I was more talking about your stop placement, but yeah. Casual verse, can we watch you set your levels on a fresh chart and talk about the process of it as you do it, when it's not time intensive to watch your current chart, maybe even use the rewind TV future? Yeah, let's see what price does here, but yeah, I can just pull a new chart. It doesn't even have to be gold, it could be whatever, honestly. Rozzy, your stop loss was on the buy above line. Yeah, I mean, you want to get a close below that line before, I don't know. Yeah, if it's your, how you trade it, then that's fine. I mean, however you trade is how you trade.
Would you look at entering a long if we close above there now? The next candle, of course, wick into the range and doing a flip.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world, only because we've got clean traffic now with that candle, right? But with that being said, we've already recovered the range too. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, by any means, because we went up, we came back down. You easily could recover it again. If you close above, you get a wick down and flip. Yeah, exactly. If it closes above and then you get a wick down to grab liquidity and then move back up, you could expect at least the 0.5 of that candle, more than likely, if we get a close above. So, and even a top wick. And again, I'm not suggesting anybody trade, but I'm just telling you ways you can enter, right? If this was to close, you know, above here, and you get a move up, you get a wick down to move up, you can expect to at least test the 0.5, which is probably about where our daily high was prior. Let's look here. That would be my take of it on it. Pretty close there, so you could probably get a wick to that area there, even if it turns around and comes back down. So, not a horrible idea when you got big candles like this. But she could just drive and run forever too, but yeah. Yep, you're right, Chief the Beast.
And now we're just back in the range.
Yeah, man, we
well,
may.
Not yet, but
yeah, we should have a 30-minute close coming up. And we'll wait and see how the 30 minutes closes.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, Welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly. Thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win. I'll take a stab, I wanna chase the bag.
Give me 1 second, all right, guys. I will be right back. Give me just 2 minutes. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I make money out of reality signals. Oh, good luck with that one. I don't post near as many signals as people expect. A lot of times I take trades right here on the live stream and do not signal them at all because I forget, because I've got a lot going on. I'm trying to talk to all you guys here in the VC, talk to everybody on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, place my order, manage my order, and still keep all you guys in line and answer your questions and everything else. So normally my signal bot does not signal much of anything. I try my best to, but what I would like you to do, Krause, is learn the strategy. Then you don't need signals. That's the whole point. Yep, you're better off trading with me. Exactly. I'd rather see you guys trade with me and learn it than just go in and see the signals. And I know a lot of you do that. You just take the signal roll and then you just enter when I say and exit when I say. But I'd much rather you guys pay attention to how the price is moving and why I took an entry, why I shorted, why I longed, why I put my stop loss where I did. You know, I'd rather you guys pick that up so that you can do it yourselves rather than just, you know, take my signal. So I will be honest, this year I have posted way less signals than I did last year, and it's not going to get any I'm not going to be posting more signals. I'll be honest with you. It's not going to be a thing to where I start posting more and more and more. So I try to do it because I've got my signals in several different servers, but at the same time, I prefer you guys learn than just taking signals and trading them. You made $70 with my signal once. You were happy? Well, that's good. Glad you were happy, but with that being said, you still hadn't learned it, right? I'd rather you learn it, and then you can be real happy.
reality is, was not a good day for our friend again today.
Who?
I posted in the chat.
Okay. Hey, Landon, how's it going?
What's up, reality?
Not a lot, not a lot.
You got a lot of stuff going on your stream. I'm not sure what what the hell is going on. You got a scroll bar, a chart in the corner, a chart on the main screen.
Yeah, the chart in the
Reality is going
corners.
big.
Yep, exactly. I'm trying to, that was my whole thought for this year. This year I wanted to really get an audience, really start teaching people, and really reach to where, why am I doing it? You know, my wife asked me one time, she's like, because I woke up one morning last year, you know, just in the middle. Hold on. You know, it was a few months ago, 2-3 months ago, and I was like, man, I really want to advance more on the server, you know, YouTube, everything. I want to really try to reach more people, get a bigger audience, things like that. And she thought I was out of my mind because, you know, it just is what it is. But that's just what I want to do. So that's what I'm working on. Try to reach as many people as I can, help as many people as I can, and turn as many people into successful traders as I can, you know. And a lot of people don't get it because, you know, I don't charge for anything, or I give all the courses out. I do all this stuff, but I just, you know, it's my way of giving back. I want everybody to be successful. I want to see it, you know. That's an accomplishment for me, for every guy who makes money after the fact, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's Chief the Beast screen is what's up on the left corner. And basically what I'm using now, Landon, is Video Ninja. So you can share your screen over on that link, and then I can use the link and put it straight on my OBS, and it live streams everybody's. So I'm hoping that by the time we're all said and done here, as the year goes on, you know, in 6 months, we have 2, 3, 4 people trading, you know, live on the live stream and everything else. I mean, that's my dream when everything's said and done, that we've got a lot of people partaking and a lot of people trading, and it turns into a, you know, great thing. So that's my hopes.
Yeah, I mean, I just started reading that Mark Douglas book, The Into the Zone, which is, I'm a little upset that I just now started reading it, because I'm getting through it rather quickly for, you know, usually how long it takes me to read books, but just because it's so, I mean, it's straight to the point. Like, as far as, I mean, you've read it, right?
What's that?
Have you read the Mark Douglas Into the Zone book?
Oh, Trading Into the Zone. I saw some of it, but not a ton. I've actually got every single one of them books. If you want the rest of them, there's like 2 or 3 more of them too. Yeah, I'll drop them for you.
This one particularly, I mean, I've just been, I mean, I've filling up a notebook just through the first 3 chapters that I've gotten through, with just notes and the things that he's saying, because it's so, I mean, you know, for the longest time, I didn't, like, it was one of those things where I didn't realize what I was doing in trading and why it wasn't working, and that was, you know, the trying to conquer the market, trying to do that for so long, and then realizing, oh, it doesn't work. And I came to that realization when I took a break in December and just stopped trading for a few weeks, and then came back January, and, you know, looked over it. But now, having started this book, that's the first thing he gets into. Like, the first chapter is essentially, he talks about the differences between profitable traders, and like major differences between profitable and unprofitable. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what the main point of that second was. That's why I took all the notes, because I don't have a great memory of it. And now, just finishing the third one, he was basically explaining, you know, the specifics of, you know, what happens when bad traders, you know, as they learn more about the market, you know, the novice trader goes into it with a winning mindset because, you know, they're new to it, and then they experience that first loss, and the, you know, I guess, way of thinking that makes sense. Like it's not like, oh, that makes no sense. It makes sense. If you lose when you don't have knowledge, you'd think, oh, well, let me learn more about the market and I'll stop losing. That's, for me at least, that wasn't the case. And that's, kind of what he reiterates as well. That just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Jashim still believes that. Me and Jashim are in a fight. He pissed me off. But and he's still being a bitch. He's still being a bitch. And so he pissed me off. But anyways, he no, and I told Jashim he needs to read that book. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's such like a way of looking at it. But I'm talking with JB as well. Another thing he's helped me out a lot with was, well, another one of those things where it's like I didn't realize, like I knew there was a problem, but I couldn't realize what the problem was. And I realized I have near zero trust in myself. Like I don't know why, but like when I think about it, because I had never thought about if I did trust myself, mostly because I felt I could only trust myself. But then I realized, oh wait, no, I don't actually even do that. And then whenever he asked me that question, just us going back and forth, I was like, well, I guess I don't, because if I did, not only would I not worry about money, I wouldn't worry about my trades. I wouldn't worry about if I'm budgeting correctly. I just wouldn't worry about these things, because I live a very secluded life. That's just the way I enjoy living. So I don't worry about others. So it's usually only about myself. And if I trusted myself, then it makes it a lot easier. So now I'm going down that, I guess, rabbit hole of like, okay, well, what can I do to improve that? And that's like, it started off with, oh, okay, learning more about the market or changing my strategy isn't going to work. So I need to stick to a strategy. Got it. Well, now I got to get to the emotional side. Okay, I need to learn to trust myself. And this whole, the first week of January was okay, for me at least. I'm not talking about how the performance was, more like how I executed my trading style. It was okay. There was like one slip up the first day of that week. I didn't trade because for some freaking reason I convinced myself I shouldn't trade today because it's the first day of the new year. Which on paper, yeah, that makes sense. But for what I was trying to do and just be consistent, made no sense. So next week after that, the second week, fantastic. Week after that, I think there was like one mess up. And then this last week that just finished, I was just unfocused all over the place and missed a bunch of trades, like 2 or 3 trades. And so I had to sit back. And of course, yesterday I was on the phone with my insurance company and having to switch that over. And so I wasn't willing to trade after having to pay a $1,300 bill. I was a little bit frazzled as far as money. So I was like, you know what, let's shut it down. Thankfully, looking at it from back tested results, it would have been a break-even day anyways. So I'm not, too upset about it. But yeah, I don't know. It's strange, and it goes to what you're saying about wanting to get people better at trading.
Yeah.
And for a long time I was like, why is how is it so difficult to teach someone to trade, or is it even possible to teach someone to trade without them having to go through the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, or pretty much anybody else has gone through, and the ones that are coming? And I'm more leaning on the side of I don't. For some people, surely, but for the large majority, I think it just takes a lot of time, but there's also a lot of resources that are going to help them. And that Mark Douglas book, I would highly recommend to anybody. Just no matter where you are in trading, unless, if you're profitable already, but if you're not, you got to read that book, because he's straight to the point. He's not moving around or saying, like, he is essentially, if you're not profitable, he's going to call you out very quickly, specifically too. Like, it's strange how specific it was. And I was like, oh, damn it. He got me.
Yep, and everybody that wants that book or wants the PDF or whatever, just let me know. I've got it. I can drop the PDF for anybody that needs it. But yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people who highly recommend it. I've listened to it some. The thing with me is I've always did it on and I tried to tell Jashim this myself here a few days ago. For me, it's discipline, right? So it's pretty simple, and everybody always says, well, I just don't understand how you can sit there and not take a trade, right? And they'll say things like this, you know, we sit here for hours and you don't take a trade, and I don't understand how you don't take a trade. Don't you get antsy? Don't you? No, I don't, because you already, you know, you've already been through that, and that's what it was for me. I don't like to lose, not at all, right?
Yeah.
So how do you control the fact of never losing? For me, I never lose. And people say, oh, no, that's not true. You lose trades. No. I'm not talking about losing trades. I'm not talking about losing money. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about I never lose. And why do I never lose? Because you follow your rules, right? So I have a setup. And if the setup's there, check. Now my setup's played. And then I have my entry. If my entry's there, check. I enter. And that's it. If my setup and entry aren't there, I don't enter. So if my setup was there, if my entry was there, I enter the trade, I won. You know, that's it. There is nothing more to it than that. What the market does is a whole different deal, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask, do you think, because, you know, I've heard a brief summary of, you know, your early life, and do you think that played a huge part in your ability? Because, I mean, for everybody, it's exactly what you're saying. It's just discipline, right? That's the way it is for everybody. But when it comes to, well, what the fuck? Oh, sorry, my order messed up. I just got to make sure it's not still in the position. Okay, no, it's not. We're good. Okay. Anyways, do you, like, because, well, I mean, for me, right, the personal experience I have was for pretty much my whole life. I had to put the bare minimum effort to get, you know, far above average results. And so that, you know, negatively impacted me anytime I had to do something that was difficult. But thankfully that very rarely happened, right? I was in martial arts for a long time, never really practiced much outside of going to class, was able to win state titles. Went to, you know, school. I graduated with a near perfect GPA. I never studied more than like once or twice, and that was in pre-calculus, right? So it's like things like that. It was like, you know, everything was incredibly easy. But then when it came to trading, it was like, oh, okay, this is no longer easy. If I put in the bare minimum effort, it isn't going to work. And so it was, you know, spending all that time, you know, trying to rework that. But then even more so for me, I had to look at, like, this was the biggest thing. Throughout my entire life, I thought I didn't like change. But, you know, until I started thinking about it, I was like, oh no, I love change. That's what I strive for. I strive to change all the time. I don't know why. I just do. I love, you know, being able to change. Until I accepted that, and for some reason I was so against it. But until I accepted that, I wasn't able to say, oh, well, that's why I'm not doing well in trading. Because I love the idea of changing. I mean, I broke it down into whether it was video games. I was always, I mean, you know, if I was in a video game that I really loved, like Overwatch, I played for years, and I wanted to get better at that game, constantly I would change what character I was, you know, trying to get better at, constantly. And then in martial arts, there are different sections. I mean, I don't know if what studied, it was mostly in like a mixture of martial arts, but for Taekwondo specifically, it was, you know, that you have your forms, your sparring, and then there's a few other segments, and it's like, oh, I would, you know, 1 week I'd say, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to try and get a state title in, you know, sparring. And then, you know, 2 weeks later, I'd be like, well, I don't really want to do that anymore. I'm going to try form. And then but the issue was there was no like requirement for me to stick with one. Because if I didn't win, you know, the title or whatever, it was like, oh, well, this guy was just better than me. Oh, well, like, it didn't really matter. But then realized that was the issue in trading. It required me to. Do you think that did you already have to go through forcing yourself to be disciplined, you know, sticking to the plan earlier in life, and that's what made it easier for you?
Probably, because I've always been disciplined, you know, that's just kind of part of what makes me up. So yeah, it could very well be. But I always say that because I feel like people should know that, because you've got different people, right? You've got traders. I mean, I was just talking to the wife about this 2 days ago. You've got traders that, you know, believe that their strategy works, and they don't see the fact that it's actually not consistent and their strategy doesn't actually work, you know? And then you've got other traders, the reverse side of the spectrum, because what people don't get is you can win. When I say your strategy doesn't work, I'm not necessarily saying, hey, your strategy's no good. I'm saying a lot of times people think, oh, well, I won 3 trades. I won 4 trades. Man, I've got this figured out. And I try to express to everybody that you want to see 100 trades. You want to see 200 trades. You want to see 6 months worth of trading. You want to see this, you know, these numbers before saying, okay, I'm consistently profitable. My strategy now is consistent. And then you've got the flip side of them. You've got the guys that go in and they win trade after trade after trade. And then as soon as they lose, they change strats. Well, everybody has to understand that there's losses too. There's variance. That's why I say, if you know your strategy and you realize that your strategy is consistent, if you know that your win percentage is consistent and you can be consistently profitable, then all you can do is, you know, have your rules, follow them, and place the trade. You won then. And the reason that I make it such a big deal that you won is because a lot of guys, they'll lose a few and they'll change. And I mean, it's even, you can have a lot, right? So let's say that you have a 75% strategy. Okay, so you win, your win rate 75%. Well, 25% of the time you're going to lose. And you can't ever tell when that 25% is going to be. You know, you might lose 25% in the next 2 weeks. So essentially every day for the next 2 weeks you lose, and that's your 25%, you know, variance, if we will. And people be like, oh, well, I'm not sticking with this no more. Well, if it's a good strategy, you can't look at it like that. You can't look at, you know, where your losses are. And I mean, obviously there's different stuff to that too. I mean, if it's some kind of strategy that now isn't working anymore or something, you know, I've heard things like this. I'm not going to say that I agree or disagree. I have my thoughts of how I trade and it works for me. So whatever works for everybody else works for them. I've never been one to try to say that what anybody else does is wrong, but a lot of people will say, you know, the market moves different now, so now my strategy doesn't work. And maybe that's the case. I don't know. But under normal circumstances, if you have a strategy that is consistent, you know, it's just like having pocket aces. And I always compare it to poker. If I'm sitting around a poker table right now and I get dealt pocket aces, that's the best hand on the table. You know what I mean? I've got the best hand currently. If a guy puts me all in, I'm going to call him. Why? Because I have the best hand. And in trading, you have to look at it exactly the same way. Do you win with pocket aces? No, not necessarily. Everybody will say, oh yeah, you win. No, you don't. The guy could have pocket fives. The flop could come, you know, 7, queen, 5. Well, he's got trips now. You know, he's got you beat. Ace never comes. You lost to pocket fives. But let me ask you a question. Next time you get dealt pocket aces and somebody goes all in, are you going to call them? Absolutely, you have to. Why? Because probability is in your favor. And that's the same thing with trading. If you have your trading strategy, right, and you realize that it is probability in your favor, then you always have to make that entry. Regardless, you know what I mean? You have to take the entry and you have to let it play out. You won. Nobody has pocket aces and somebody says, okay, I'm all in. And they say, oh, okay. Nope, I fold. Why would you fold? At that point, the probability is you're going to win. Nobody has you beat at that point. But that doesn't mean you win. And I mean, that's the same thing with a strategy. It never means that you win, right? So, and that's where the problem comes. And people think, well, I got to win every trade. No, you won the trade if you followed your rules and you did what you were supposed to, in my opinion. Like I said, this is just the way I look at it, and that's why it's so easy for me to be disciplined, is because I don't look at it as I won or I lost a trade. And it definitely has nothing to do with this trade, and that's where I think a lot of traders get it wrong too. When we talk about R to R, when we talk about this, when we talk about this, people don't realize that they are completely narrowing out their thought process to this trade. If I take a trade right now, for whatever reason, this seems to be the only trade that matters. So if I lose this trade, oh my gosh, I lost. You know what I mean? If I won this trade, well, this was the best trade in the world. But the trade that I took today doesn't mean nothing. You know what I mean? If I take a trade right now, it doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing in the grand scheme of things, because it's what you're doing in a year that matters. You know, what you're doing next year, what you're doing the year after that. Though that's what matters over the long haul, not what happened today. And that's what I try to tell everybody more than anything, because this one trade doesn't dictate what's happening, right? This one trade really doesn't matter. And if people could get this one trade out of their head and know that it doesn't matter, then I think people would be better all the way around. And that's not just the guys that lose on this particular trade right now, but even the ones that win. Because a lot of times they win and they think, oh, well, you know, I've got this whole system cracked. No, one trade don't matter. You know, this week's trades don't matter. I don't know how to explain that to people, but that's how it's so easy to be disciplined for me, because I don't care what happens right now. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna attribute, because I just had something, you know, in my head. I think it's easily attributable to almost an addiction, meaning if addiction to not following your rules, meaning if you look at it like, let's say, you know, you're sitting there, you're waiting for a trade, right? 9 times out of 10, if you break your rules after you finish the trade, you're gonna be upset. You're like, why did I break my rules? It makes no sense. I tell myself day in, day out, don't break your rules. Now, only thing that I've really been, like, I guess, quote unquote, addicted to was probably porn. And that, like, you know, it is very well, you know, it's not a drug in sense, but I can say a lot of the times before I was able to break through that and, you know, really say, okay, well, I'm done with this, and continuously not go to it. Before that, it was, as soon as, you know, it was done, I was like, why would I do that? This makes no sense. I know that's not what I want. But then I move on. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to do it again next time. So it's really easy, especially with trading, to say, oh, I just need to follow my rules, and then I'll be profitable. And they're not wrong. That is what you need to do. But if you build the habit of not following your rules, it is, you have to break the habit. You can't just all of a sudden say, well, I'm just going to follow my rules. I'm just going to follow my rules. That doesn't work. So, and
True.
you know, another thing I talked with JB about yesterday was, you know, it's hard for me to say I'm going to trade an evaluation account slowly, because I know I'm okay with risking $20 to just get it to PA. But that builds into that, you know, habit thing. It's like, well, am I really going to spend the $20 to risk having to break through, you know, on a PA with that same problem and say, well, now I'll trade it slow? Do I really think that's what's going to happen? Or is it more realistic that what's going to happen is, sure, I'm going to pass the evaluation eventually, you know, one at a time, just gambling these accounts. And then I'm going to get on a PA and I'm going to say, well, now I'm just going to risk 2%. And then I'm going to be upset. And I'm going to say, well, I'm just going to risk 4%. And no, I'll just do a flat 5%. Well, if you lose 5 trades in a row with 5%, you just lost a quarter of your account. And losing 5 trades in a row isn't that unrealistic. I don't care how high your win rate is. I don't care how, you know, any of that. It's not about on paper, you know. And I figured this out. But I feel like it's too late, but not really. I've only been trading for 11 months now. Coming up on a full year. We're going in February, but anyways, and that's, you know, if I'm trading an account and I back test it, and the back test results say 80% win, or we'll say 90% win rate, you know, with average winner being a 2-to-1, right? It will be nearly impossible to get that same win rate, not because the strategy changes, but because there are small inferences that are going to make mistakes when it comes, or make me make mistakes when it comes to trading. Maybe I wasn't there. I mean, the first week of January showed this perfectly, where I decided not to trade that first day, and I had to leave early one of the other days. All I did was miss 2 trades out of that week. I think I got a total of like 12 or something, like, you know, potential trades. I missed, you know, 2 of them. Well, those 2 happened to be winners. So instead of losing 2R that week, it's, you know, in the perfect scenario, it was still a lost week. I ended up losing 5R. So there's your 5R. If you lose, you know, there's 25% of your account gone. So in the matter of a week, by only risking 5%, just because I missed 2 trades.
Yep.
So
yep.
it like, then that's something I've tried to convey to Jashim, and he doesn't listen, unfortunately.
Well,
but I mean,
he was he was asking me questions too about risk and what I risk and everything else, and he didn't understand what I was saying, and I tried to explain it to him. My rules, and here, and maybe I can explain it to you, and maybe you'll make more sense of what it was I was saying. My rules are, I don't take a trade that the stop loss is going to be over 30 ticks. And he took that as my stop losses are 30 ticks, and that's not the case. My stop losses are never the same. I don't do it that way. If I take a trade, and I mean you can, let me show on the screen here. Let's just say that I was taking this current candle right here, and the flip was where my trade was entered, right? And I was going long. Well, my stop loss now is 21 ticks because my stop loss is below current candle wick. Right? So this is a 21 tick stop loss.
Okay.
Next trade may be a 12 tick stop loss. Next trade may be a 25 tick stop loss. And what I told him was, I don't take a trade over 30 ticks, because he says, well, what do you risk? And I said, well, I never risk more than 30 ticks. Why? Because that's my rule. So if there's a entry and I'm going to go long and that wick is 35 ticks, I don't enter that trade. That's just my rules. I don't enter it. Why? Because the risk is too great for me to take the trade. It's got nothing to do with what I'm going to make. And everybody will say, well, that doesn't make any sense. How's it not got to do? It just really doesn't, because the market's going to give you what the market gives you, and I chase it with a stop. So I can't actually, tell you what it is you're going to make. I don't believe that's a fair thing to say. A lot of people say, well, I risked 1R to make 5R. No, you risked 1R hoping that the market would go in your direction 5R. There's no way of telling of where the market's actually going to go. Everybody thinks there's predictions behind it, and somehow we're going to say where the market's going next, what's going to happen next. I don't agree with any of that. Again, you guys that do, that's great. Nothing wrong with it. I know what my risk tolerance is, and I'm not talking about tolerance as far as mentally. I'm talking about tolerance as far as my account goes. So I know that if I risk too much, it's going to leave my account on one leg. Basically, you've hurt yourself. And I mean, that's the same with an eval. You guys see me do the same thing with evals. Same with an eval. Same with a PA account. People say, well, you risk that because you have a PA account, and your PA account has more buffer on it. Yes, but I still trade the same on evals. You guys have seen me pass 6 evals live here, and I still take 2 contracts. I still follow the same rules. I want to keep my stop loss under 30 ticks. And I think he thought that I risked $600, because that's what that is. 30 ticks, 2 contracts, that's a $600 risk. So what he was thinking was that I risked $600 on my trades, and that's not the case. You understand what I'm saying? Every trade is different. I'm not risking $600 on every trade. That is the absolute maximum I'll ever risk on a trade. You understand what I'm saying? So it could be 10 ticks. Could be 10 ticks. So if it's 10 ticks, that's a $200 risk. $200 and $600 is a huge difference in money amount to most people. In ticks, it's only 20 ticks. It's not that big of a move difference on gold, all joking aside. But at the same time, that is where I risk, because when I take, a close above, the wick comes down for a bearish candle, the candle flips bullish. Now that is my entry. So my setup was there. I got to close above. I got range to recover, right? So now what do I wait for? I wait for the down wick, and then I wait for the flip. If that down wick is more than 30 ticks from the break of the highs, I'm not going to take the trade. That's my entry. So that's why I say, when I say discipline, it's setup, it's entry, it's trade. I enter, or it's setup, entry, and now the stop loss is too big, or whatever else. I don't take the trade. That's all there is. And if I see the setup, close above, we're good. We got stop losses to recover. Wick down, comes back up. I enter, and it immediately turns around. Comes back down, hits my stop loss 3 seconds later. I won. Did I lose that trade? Absolutely. But I won because I stuck to my plan. I stuck to my rules. I did exactly what I needed to do in order to continue to trade. And what I know is, just like pocket aces, if I play those pocket aces every time, I'll be more profitable than not. Why? Because probability is in my favor. So therefore, over time, you stay consistent, you will be consistently profitable. Why? Because you realize that your strategy works. Now, is this the same for everyone? Yes. If their strategy's, a profitable strategy, then yes, it will work. And that's why I look at it that way.
I was just gonna say that I remembered, just watching a random YouTube clip or something about. Have you ever watched the movie? What is it? Jerry and Marge Go Large. Have you watched or heard of that?
What's it about? Is it about the lottery thing?
It's about the couple that
I
go
saw
and
that.
they,
Yeah.
win the
I
lottery.
saw that.
Yeah.
Yep,
So I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen enough clips to understand the premise of it. But I remember watching a specific clip of it yesterday, and the guy was basically explaining, if you flip a coin 1,000 times, you may still get 60% heads. If you flip it 5,000 times, you'll get close to 50. So,
Yep.
meaning you have to buy a large enough amount to take luck out of the equation.
Correct.
Very, similar with trading, where, in these guys, because, I don't believe you can get a specific win rate consistently across the month, like on a month-to-month basis. You can have an 80% win rate one month, you can have a 60% the next month. I've back tested. I have just over 2 years worth of data across multiple assets, all in one strategy. One strategy, the RV, and over 1,000 trades of it. And it's shown some months, I'll have a month where I made 80R, and then the next month I lost like 6R. So the strategy it's not like it just stopped working. But if you take it across all those months, then you have, okay, so this is what I should expect. But, if you're trying to wean it down or say, well, I'll risk, kind of like, I hate to keep bringing up Jashim, but he's the one closest to me, and we talk, as much as possible, so I can refer to him. But, where he's like, it's very, very rare that he would lose more than, we'll say, 5 trades in a row, or even 5 trades in a row. That is true. However, that's only true based on the last month that he's, traded it live, or 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah.
That's where that 2% or whatever risk comes in. So taking that luck out of the equation by having such a mass pool. Now, did I need 1,200 or something back tested trades to know I think it works? No, not really. I'm glad I did it, because I got so much data that I can go back and just be like, oh, okay, this clearly works across months. But it also shows the RV is very simple. It is not hard to understand. It's not hard to trade. I get usually about 3 trades a day. And the way I have my rules set up is, as soon as I get a winning trade, meaning it goes to 2R, I end the day. Whether that be the first or the last trade. If I have 2 break evens, I end the day. Or if I have 2 losses, I end the day. Or if I come to a maximum of 3 trades. So they all work together. Break even, loss, break even, 2 break evens, and 3 trades. So it works together. But that puts me in a situation where the only day that I lose money is if I have 2 back-to-back losses, or and that's minus 2R. So it's good in that sense, and it keeps me, the only days that I'm really like, a little frustrated are those days. But even still, it's building that habit, the habit of saying, okay, discipline is great, but discipline still takes conscious action, right? And I think that's where a lot of people fall short. You constantly
Yeah,
have to be
yeah.
thinking, I have to be disciplined, I have to be disciplined. And if you waver for just a second, well, then there goes all your discipline. But if you build the habit, just like brushing your teeth, right? I have had 8 or more cavities in my life because I didn't build the habit of brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I was like in my mid teens or something, like 13, 14, where I was like, I kind of like my teeth, and my adult teeth, I think at that point were all there. I don't really know when your deep adult teeth start coming in or fully come in. Whenever that age is, that's when I was like, oh, I should probably brush my teeth. And so, I didn't build that habit till much later. And because of it, I had so many cavities. And if you're trying, it's very easy to give into that. It's very easy to say, oh, well, I'll just brush my teeth once in the morning, once at night. It's so easy because
Yeah,
it's not,
yeah,
it's not a hard concept to grasp, and it's not hard to believe that you'll do it. Same as trading. It's not hard to believe, oh, well, I know my rules. I know what my risk is. I'll just do that. But I'm going to risk 400 on this eval because I don't want to wait. It's really easy to say, yeah, I'll just do that.
Yeah, yeah,
But it doesn't happen. It almost can't happen because, like I said, you can attribute it to addiction. It's eerily similar to being addicted to something and trying to quit. I mean, well, any bad habit, it's attributable to that because that's what it is. It's a bad habit of not following your rules. I don't know. I mean, it's a fun game to play, and even for me, like I'm thankful every day that I got into trading because it's helped me through so much more than just trading, but
yeah.
or I guess financial life later on and I get to work a job, but there's been so many other things where it's like, oh well, if I want to be better at trading, I have to fix this about myself, and then that inherently fix something else. But I also realized for a long time, up until probably like yesterday, that I really start to accept this, and that was that yes, I love trading, but the only reason I was really rushing was because I was so scared I wasn't going to be able to pay my bills, which is ridiculous because of not only I not just the opportunity I have around me to go get a job at any point, and thankfully I have a larger bank buffer that I can rely on if anything was to happen, right? Emergency fund, I have a large one. But I had that fear of I might not be able to make rent next month, or actually it was more like I might not be able to make rent in 12 months. And so
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
crazy thing to say, but what it was really shrouding was my ego. And that was, I told everybody that I knew, I'm going to be rich. Just you wait. Wait till you see this. And I'm not. And so for me, it was like, well, I can't go get a job. Reality, you there?
Yeah, I'm here now. I hope you can hear me, right?
A little staticky.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. Gosh dang it. I hate it. It reset. I don't know why. Gosh dang it.
You want to try closing down Discord and or I don't know.
I can't.
It's just a little staticky. I don't know if a reset. Oh, you
Yeah,
can't?
no, because if I have to reset the computer, and the only way I can do that is by turning off the live stream. So I can't do that yet. But
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. It's
at,
not,
at
I
11,
can understand,
hopefully
too.
you can
Yeah, I
hear me
wouldn't go
well.
through all that, but
Yeah.
kind of. But no, I mean, like I said, and so I went ahead and I was like, well, screw it. I'm gonna go. I mean, I was smart enough to keep my bills low enough to where I can go work, not so crazy job like some like Starbucks or something that pays $13 an hour, work 30, 40 hours a week in the afternoon. And then, kind of when I was like, oh, that sounds exactly what I want, because now I don't have to worry about the bills and I get to trade every day. And I don't really want to do anything else with my time but trade and pay the bills. So I was like, this is perfect. But it took me, really months to accept, oh, I was afraid that everybody else would think I failed. And then JB once again helped me out. He sent me a podcast. I'll post it in the general chat. I think everybody should watch it. And I'm like, I'm almost done with it. it's one that makes you really think. So I have to do it in segments to write
Yeah.
down and actually, comprehend everything he's saying. But one of the big things was, reiterating that nobody really cares about you, right? In like on a day-to-day level, the guys that you're walking by, the people that you cross paths with, they don't care at all. But in our mind, we're the one with the spotlight on us. But in their mind, they're the one with the spotlight on us. And so it was one of those things where I was like, wow, yeah, they really don't care. I mean, I've known that, but I never really, heard someone else say it and be like, oh, okay, so I guess that's true. They don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it'll be good too, because I made the decision with the evaluation accounts instead of, skipping on. I was like, well, if I can sit here, trade these evaluations when I know there's a really easy way out, super easy, and it'll save me probably 2 to 3 months and maybe, of time. But if I sit here and I do this, when I get to that PA, am I ever going to have the urge to go to a 5 to 10% risk? Probably not. But if I do skip ahead, am I going to have that urge, and am I probably going to do it? It's a lot more likely. And do I think that that's going to end up costing me more time than waiting and staying on this eval? No, I don't. I think so it's trusting myself to make the right decision.
Yeah. And that makes
Here,
sense.
I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna post that live or podcast.
Yeah, and everybody needs to watch that. I'm gonna answer casual verse real quick. I've gotten no signals ever and can't say that I'm much better off at all. Much like participation in a classroom, I feel like you need to learn side by side, hands on, then do it on your own. I agree, casual verse. And he also said, I've read that book. He's talking about the trading in the zone. I think something that goes undetected is how you learn and how you are taught. Not everyone learns the same way. Good to go by proven educational retention methods. Absolutely. I agree with you there too. Casual verse, you make some very valid points. And that goes right along with what you were saying as well, Landon. Absolutely.
You're cracking up.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing I can do about it. The Discord reset. So until I shut down YouTube, I can't restart, the computer.
Okay, cool.
So sadly, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's no problem. No, nobody said anything, so I just mentioned. Okay, cool.
Podcast, Gold Plus Daily.
Here, I've got. Yeah, that's the one. This is also, I saw this randomly. I posted this in the main chat. There's a diagram of the strategy I use if you're just, curious of how simple it is, and the data on it. I have to go ask my grandfather. He's got the login for the Excel account that I use, but I have another one, and it basically, what I have here, it's across 610 trades. So this is half of what I really have, but 610 trades. The total R that I got was 274. So if you risk $100, you made roughly $27,000, $27,400. Right? I'm not. Yeah. And that's across. Exactly sure. 1, 2, 3. Looks like roughly 5 months, right? And so now that's also this is trading gold, oil, Nasdaq, and the S&P, the ES, right? So it's trading all of them, and it's taking every single setup that I saw from 9:30 to 4 o'clock. But that I mostly did that just to get as much data as I possibly could in a fast amount of rate. If you break it down into any individual one of those tickers, or any one of those tickers, you'll look at it and you'll say, oh, okay, so they're pretty similar with some differences. But really, it's just to say, it's like the expectancy rate is less than half. So that means across 100 trades, you're only going to get, 45 R, right? So, And the win rate on it, the win rate on this data sheet says 64%. That's not right. I know it isn't, but I think it's around 70. I think it's like 71%. So it's not, and that's risking 2 to 1. Aiming for 2 with a break-even stop after you hit 1 to 1. So super simple, but it took me a year to figure out, oh, I just need to do that every day.
Yeah. Casual verse, yeah, my mic sounds fine on YouTube. That's because it for some reason I have problems on Discord. I don't know what it is, but it reset. So basically, when my YouTube resets, I don't exactly know why it resets, but sometimes it'll just reset, and my mic sounds funny on the Discord. So it's still running through all my audio gear, all my mixer and everything, so it sounds fine on YouTube. It doesn't affect YouTube at all. It's not a hardware issue. It's just a Discord issue, sadly. Don't know why it does it, but it does.
Yo,
No,
yo,
go.
yo, Reality, how you doing?
Hey, Flo, how's it going? How's it going?
Any trades yet?
Nope.
Gold just...
Yeah, there was a trade. Yeah, it went up. We had a great trade early to take, but didn't get on it. It was right before stream, so missed the trade. But that pump up, yeah, that pump candle that buys above, we closed above, got the wick down, and then a push up. So it was a good setup, but I missed it, yeah, because we weren't on stream. So I was doing other stuff this morning before I got on. So it's one of those things.
Sad.
It happens. It happens. All right, casual verse. There's really not a whole lot going on, so let's pull a chart. I guess maybe let us pull up just a gold spot chart. What do you think? You maybe? Yeah, no, you've been waiting patiently, casual verse. Let's look at this real quick. All right, so and hopefully you guys can, without being something more accessible, since I don't have any access to gold with very small amount. Okay, what do you think? Give me an asset then. Let me see what you're thinking, and I'll run it through. Are there casual verse? What do you want me to look at? Whatever you're thinking. You said something more accessible. What Whatever asset you want, I'll pull up and we'll go over it real quick. Maybe Nasdaq. Okay. All right, so here we are. And essentially when you're here, you know, you start out, you can go to higher time frames if you want, guys. Pay attention to that. It's completely up to you. You know, monthly, where your highs and lows are there if you want. Depends on how far you guys want to go down as far as or there's your highs and lows for your month. Of course, we'll just run it down. I'll kind of show you an idea how you'd run it if you were on, you know, a higher time frame. Just running your areas down, right? What I do is I get rid of all these lines once we get there, but that makes there's your daily there, so we're essentially not going to use any of these. What I do with these is I'll go back to pray with them. So do something similar to that with them, right? Come off my chart. They're still there, but they're not in your way. In here because we're at the highs, so you don't have to go left on this particular asset because essentially we're in price discovery at this time, right? I can't see behind the other trading screen. Oh geez, yeah, give me 1 second. I am sorry about that. Okay, Chief, I'm gonna turn your screen off for there, right? Did not even think about that. I'm sorry. Visual burst, didn't even think. All right, so we made it per hour. Here we are at the hour. So essentially, as you can see with these areas, if we were just trying to mark out, we are just this a little bit. And you're going to adjust it as you come into different time frames, right? I know that might not sound completely understandable per se, but as you come into different time frames, you're going to see where your closes are. See on your 30, it's still about the same on the chart here as it was on the hour. You might make an adjustment to about that if you're just trading on. And again, this is a range, so you're not really talking about, hey, you know, 5 ticks or something's going to make a difference. You want to see a clear close above here anyways, and you're still looking for a flip. So that's where your area would be if you were trading the 30, which would be the next area that's coming up, the next time frame that's coming up, right? You essentially could do something like this. If I was looking at this area right here, I would be more concluded to call this a buys above for a fake out, right? The only reason that I say that is that's essentially the level that you've came back to. If you look at it in sense of you know, market structure, you're looking at, you put in your bottom here. This is the nose of your W, right? If you want to look at it that way, however people look at it, right? So you've broke retest for a continuation move, or your lightning bolt, right? As Tino likes to call it. That's essentially what you're looking at there. Again, if you get a close above, it's one thing. If you get a close below, then you're looking at it just like you would a wick above, close below. So you get a close below here, you're still looking at the same thing. You're looking for a wick to the top side, then back down. You should get a fake out in this area. Why? Because people have their stops just below here, right? Anybody that was long now's moved their stops to this as their market structure area. Does that make sense? So 9 chances out of 10, your play out though here possibly be something like this, right? Are we predicting here? Yeah, I guess, but I mean, these are the things that you're looking at. Why? Because this is the range you're in. So saying that's your, you know, sell point, your buy point, or let's just say your range point, okay? Here we are ranging, right? And this is exactly what ranging will look like, and this is how the market moves always. I mean, this is just how it works, right? So we'll go yellow with this. This is your range, right? You're just ranging. So that's where price goes ranging wise. And then green is exactly your buys, which exactly what the thoughts were when we were talking about break retest. Whoops. Break retest continuation, right? So that would be your different ways of movement. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So essentially, if you come up and again, that's why your buys above can be taken as a fake out. You get a big wick down here, and then you come back and you close in the range. Essentially, that's just the same as a wick above, close below, wick below, close above. You know, it's all kind of the same thing, if that makes sense. So those are the areas that you're looking at. Essentially, where are your stop losses right now on this chart? You know, your stops are going to be above these highs. Your stops are going to be below these lows. So you're looking for them to get wicked one way or another, whether it's a wick, close, and then continuation, then you can trade the move down. If it's a wick, close, continuation up, or if it's a wick, close, and then a reversal back down, right? And that's all what you want to do on your higher time frames. That's why I say don't use the 5 minute. You come down to the 5 minute, and that's what everybody wants to do. But look at how it looks. I mean, where would people have been entering on this 5 minute? And this is why so many people get faked out in so many ways. 5 minute time frame. You got to close above there. You know, you got your close below right here on your 5 minute went down. You're now thinking that, you know, we're going down, and yet it doesn't. That's why you always want to pay attention to these high time frame closes and these high time frame actual setups and entries rather than going down to your lower time frame. Does that make sense, Casual Verse? Does that make sense of what we're looking at here? Like I said, that's just a quick run through here. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, accuracy placement. I mean, basically all you're looking at is I mean, some people call it top-down analysis, right? Does that make sense? So basically I went to a high time frame and just pulled my levels out on the high time frame and then worked down from there. Hey, Jack Biceps, welcome, man. What do we get? I get the proximity, but I'm worried about not putting them in proper enough spots to where I mess up the flip candle aspect. Well, I mean, basically the reason that you're looking at these areas, right, are these areas that are big candles for recovery. So essentially this was one of your big candles here, right? So really these are the areas that you're looking for recovery of. Well, same thing goes here. You've got this candle with your way up. We've got wicks above, but never actually closed above it. So you can anticipate once we close above here, we're going to recover at least this wick, right? But your hopes and dreams are we're going to recover this entire range and even up to the top to where your wicks were prior on the large time frame. So this is where your stops are sitting currently. That's why they come up and they hit these wicks. Wicks have a lot to do with how I trade. You know, I'm always paying attention to where wicks are. I want big candles, right? Big clean candles. Some people call them vector candles. If you look, I mean, basically when you look at this, right, I don't have vector candles on, but that's a vector candle, right? And people be like, well, how do you know that's a vector candle? Well, you see this big candle come in, you realize that's a vector candle. And then on a TPO chart, this looks like a single print, right? So this is a smooth area to run through. If you look at it at an SMC standpoint, this is a big fair value gap right here, right? That's all that really is, gap. It's the fair value gap. So it's essentially all the same thing. Everything means what? Inefficiencies in the chart, right? So those are where you want the clean ranges at. Does that make sense? And essentially that's what you're looking at. So when you're looking at your highs and lows from your higher time periods and then coming down to your hour and just kind of, you know, honing them in because now they're a little bit steeper on your daily or whatever the case may be. Now you're basically trading on the hour where essentially your levels are on the higher time frames as well. Right, so when you go here and you look at this, this was my daily low right here for gold when we started trading this morning, and here's your daily high, right? So those are the areas that we're looking for to see if they get broke or not, because those are strong areas that they're going to run through and grab stops. Make sense? And then you get this big clean candle up. So what do we expect? Well, we expect that fast move, false move. You're going to get your move back down, which is exactly what happened there, right? Does that make sense, Casual Verse? I hope. Like I said, the biggest thing is showing up every day. I know I've seen you here before, but you show up every day and it'll start clicking more and more that you show up, right? Because I believe in the two lines you advise above twice. I'm going to close my browser, open it up since I'm freezing. Because that was a fake out area. I expect that they're going to come down, take stops, and then come back up. Is that necessarily the case? Maybe not, but I'll put out potential fake outs. Normally they look, and that was the wrong one that I grabbed there. Normally they look like this. That's normally what they look like if you go to the No BS Trading in the server, or you go back to some of the previous live streams. You'll see something like that. And to me, that's a area where I expect that instead of it actually going below per se, it'll probably wick down there and fake out a lot rather than just falling apart for sells below. And does that necessarily not have to happen? No, you know, if we get down there and really start trading below, like I like to call it range 2, and that won't make sense to a lot of you here either. But essentially what I'm looking for is this, right, down here. Then we'll consider sales. So what you're looking for is for it to break down here, trade, you know, consolidation, sideways, gather orders, and we'll have stops above and stops below this particular area. So what you're looking for is something like this to take place. Box that way. Anyways, to take place right here. So essentially you're looking for the same kind of price movement below this range. Yeah, I can draw out a flip. We had a close above, let's just say. Then let's just well, I don't want to do a close below because we're really not there, but just say that you had a close above here. Say price is trading up here now. So essentially this would be what you're looking at as a close. Made it up here. You've made it to this point where you've got to close above now. What you will look for next is for your next candle to open up after you close above, and then drives down. Okay. So at that point, this is going to be a bearish candle. Right? And now, what will happen next, as the candle comes in, right? There will be your wick. Essentially, because no wick on the candle, right? You got nothing because all you did was open up and drive down. Now, you come and right at this point, right, you flip bullish. Now, this candle has a bottom wick is now green because of bullish at this point. Closed above, you got a wick down to grab liquidity, and then you get that push up. And that flip, when it flips to the flips bullish, that's where your entry is. Your stop is just below the wick, you know, the low of your current candle. And then your take profit would be the top of this wick, and then the recovery of the range, depending on how the setup is. Sometimes you only have little top wicks, and if the range seems clean enough, then you will take a break of actual high rather than this candle. But what I like to see is big wicks. I prefer the wicks, and I prefer the recovery of wicks. So that to me is the best setups. And like what I was just telling Landon, is he still here? Yeah, he's still here. Oh, he's not. Yeah, but he's muted. Anyways, that's what dictates what my stop loss is. So essentially your stop loss in this right here would be 98 ticks, but I mean this is on Nasdaq, so it's much different than gold. So you have to have bigger stop losses, but essentially that's where your stop loss would be on this candle setup that we put here. Obviously these are huge candles, so it doesn't really, it's not fit to scale, but would be your stop loss is you know, just below that candle wick there. And you want to see that candle wick, you know, come down and actually grab liquidity. And when I say grab liquidity, you know, you're wanting to you know, come down past this level. You're wanting to normally at least take the 50% of your last candle. That's why a lot of times we don't get involved when we have a big candle like this, Like here you are, right? So your close above essentially would have been this candle. Well, obviously you're not taking a trade long from here, you know, because we've got way too much candle to come back and recover to feel good about that move. Again, we're looking at fast move, false move, right? Yeah, I know, bro. My Discord messed up. I know. So does that make sense? Casual verse? I have no problem going through it, guys. I want you guys to catch on, so. Good, that's perfect. That's perfect. And again, when it comes to stop losses, I mean, essentially they're going to be above your areas and below your areas, but you just got to really think about how traders trade, right? Without any of this stuff still on the chart. Let's just take all this away. When you talk about the different strategies out there, you got to understand, you know, this would be your support resistance right here on your hourly. So essentially the lines that I have, and this is why a lot of people say, oh, support resistance, but I'm not looking at it that way. This is just, it's the ranges in between that I'm actually paying attention to, not the line itself, and people don't get that. But anyway, all right, so you have that. Now, if you look at it in this aspect, right, this right here is where your supply is. Essentially, as guys are trading this, they're putting these supply boxes, you know, about right there. That's where they're running these at. And so that's your supply. And then if you are trading, you know, order block type situations, well, this is your order block right here before you're moved down for, and I mean, on a lower time frame, you're going to see that better, but you understand what I'm saying. So all these entries short are going to be off this area once price comes back up and works into this area, right? And all the stop losses then for these short orders are going to be right here. That's where all your stop losses are for all these strats. That's your stop losses, and that's what people don't really take into consideration. They're all right there. And then if we break above here, what's going to happen? Well, not only are their stops going to get hit, but also breakout traders are going to trade it. So your breakout traders that want to go long here are going to trade it. Any trader that trades supply demand flips, they're going to trade that as well. Essentially, it's a supply demand flip, level to level trading, whatever you want to say, right? Support resistance traders are the same way. They're going to trade that move back up because it broke through resistance and now's moving up. So they're going to trade that as well. So all these traders come in doing the exact same things, trading all these things. So that's where all your orders come from. And when you get all your stop losses there the same way, then you know you're going to see a reaction there, right? Okay. Since it's not to scale, or it can be next time if you prefer, what about one more example to scale? I can't make it to scale is the problem. If you go back in some of my previous live streams or go back to the New Year's video, you can see the trades in action actually working, right? I can't make them to scale because I can't make the candles look right. By drawing them out, I can't make them that small is the problem. Okay, my Discord reset again. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm having Discord problems this morning, but I am. There you go. Sorry. Stream's back up. I think it reset again. I wasn't looking. I was looking at my other screen, so. But yeah, I mean, I can't, casual verse, I can't make them to scale. I can't make a candle that size is the problem. So, but it's no big deal. It's just showing the candles come up. So essentially, I can probably even find a spot on the chart that I mean, the problem is you can't see a flip, right? So you can anticipate, okay, as we look at this, you can anticipate that this closed above, this was a wick down, and then it flipped, came up, broke the high, and continued up. But you don't know that, right? There's no way, unless you were here watching this play out, that you know that it didn't give you a top wick first and then come back down. And that's where the problem comes in at, unless we want to circle it and go down to the lower time frame. And I mean, we could do all these things, but at the end of the day, it's already played out. It doesn't really matter, but that's why we sit here and watch charts and candles build. So essentially, if this was a close above, then your entry would have been after you wick down, which the stop loss would have been too big if we're, you know, saying that this was a wick down. And then your take profit would have been right here. So essentially, this candle came in, wick down, let's just say, came up here, next candle comes in, does what? Wicks down again, or the push up. You're expecting the recovery at the top of the range. You chase your stop loss all the way up until right here, this candle right here would be what came down and hit you wherever your stop was, right? So essentially, that's how it would have played on that particular entry there. The active demo is helping a lot, drawing it out from start to finish and explaining. And by scale, I mean smaller assets. Sorry about that. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about actual size of the candles, because I can't draw them anyway. Yeah, I mean, so essentially that is what it is. Again, same thing here. This came up, break above the level, because none of this played out. So, you know what I mean? None of this has worked yet. So as you're looking at this, you're expecting a move up in this range. More than likely, what happened here was you got this wick up and you have no top wick to recover. So since you have no top wick on this candle to recover, you never would have entered this position. And then the next thing is, more than likely, this wick came up first, put on a top wick, and then fell down and fell apart. So this would have been a trade you never would have been involved in. You get a closure above, and this is where so many people mess up. You get a closure above, and they'll just take the trade because you closed above. That's not all there is to it. You have to have a top wick to recover. These are the things you're looking for. You have to have a bottom wick on the next candle and it to flip and continue to the upside. It's not just about a closure above or a closure below. That's where so many people get mixed up. So, I mean, there are several steps to this playing out, right? And you have to wait for all these things to take place, you know. DJ used to say it, you know, confluence equals confidence. And that's the truth still yet, even with this strategy. You want to make sure that everything plays out first. It's the way I trade, like I was talking to Landon earlier. It's got nothing to do with, you know, what you feel about this or what you feel about that or how your feelings are involved or anything. It's got nothing to do with that. For me, it's either a close above or it isn't. You either have a top wick to recover or you don't. You either have the bottom wick and flip and that's within your stop loss, or you don't. That's it. I mean, as much as everybody thinks it's just kind of how you do this or how you do that or how this looks or how that looks, it really isn't. It's a basic set of rules, and it's really not super hard. It's not that you have to have this big, you know, thought process of what something could or couldn't do or anything else. I mean, you don't want to change these things, trade these things during news. You know what I mean? If news is about to drop, you want to make sure that you stay out of the way and let it play out before you get involved. I mean, there are factors like that that could come into play. That being said, if you're already in before news, right, and news is going to hit and price hasn't worked as you want it to, which normally is not a case, but if it is, then you want to, you know, secure profit. Get yourself to a spot to where news isn't going to completely mess you up. Because do I trade news? Yes, but not until after news plays. Basically, I wait for that move first, and now we look for a way to take advantage of it, because news to me is just the market moving faster. But the rules are essentially the same. You just want to stay out of the way for that super volatility that happens right as the news drops, right? Because you'll normally get big moves, which big moves are nice too, because that's what we're looking for. Big moves to, you know, give us a nice clean range to move through. Yeah, and the Discord's bad, guys. I don't know why it keeps disconnecting everybody. Let me pull your stuff back up, Chief. I'm sorry. I think we... Again, I don't know if you're in a position or what, but... Burb, if you blow the account, you pay $30 next month and they reset it. Yes. If the account's blown, they'll reset it back to the original. You just reset. That's the beauty in doing these accounts. Like I've tried to tell everybody, it's more for beginners, you know, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not going to say it's more for beginners. Let me reword that. I think that it's better than your funded accounts through Forex. And the reason that I say this is with Forex, you pay, you know, $100, $150 every single challenge to try to pass it, right? And when you trade it, if you're new, if you're beginning, if you know that, you know, you could struggle some, a lot of new people are, you know, worried about going into a funded account. And with Forex, I understand why. I understand how people look at it. With futures, it's much different because you get the 80% off. So it's like just over $30 for a 50K account. And if you trade this month and you blow the account, just like you're talking about, Bird, next month when you pay your $30 again, they reset the account. You start back over at zero. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to pay monthly in order to try to do funded. You know, with Forex, it's one payment. Correct. But with futures, you get several chances too. So for that same $150 that you would have paid for Forex or more, you have several months that you could continue to blow the account and start over, to where if you blow the account every 2 weeks on Forex, you're spending a ton of money. So for me, for guys that are starting out, for guys who are trying to get there, this is more tuition, right? You're paying monthly, you can blow the account, they reset it, and then once you actually pass, once you've had your education and you've got it, now you have a 50K account guaranteed. So essentially it's like getting out of college and having a immediate job already there. And I think it works a lot better for people trying to work at it. Just my opinion. Gives you something to work towards. And if you were to try to trade the market yourself, and I mean, again, I'm not talking about anything or whatever, but most people are going to spend more than $30 a month in the real market. So most new guys or guys trying to figure it out are going to blow more than $30 each month in the market. And at the end of the day, when they're all done, they're not going to have a 50K account. They're going to have, you know, no money in their bank account. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but you know what I'm saying. So it just makes more sense to do these accounts and try to, you know, work your way through them for $30, and, you know, you have that practice. You're practicing with 50K. So it gives you that thought of running a big account, right? And it's for a little bit of money. You know, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to do funding companies because they take a percentage. Well, you know, you're talking about Apex here, Burb. And I mean, Apex, they give you the first $25,000 100%. So you don't have to give any percentage of that. And then after that, you give, you know, 10% of your profit. That's it. So you get 90%, you give them 10%, and you started all this with, you know, $30 essentially. So I can't think of a better way to do it. And I mean, I got all this from JJ, and it made a lot of sense when I was talking to him about it. Of course, I was with crypto that time and just trying to try out futures, and I struggled with futures when I first came over. I tried to trade overextension and things like that worked really well on crypto that just don't work so much on futures. Casual Verse, you could ask them to come to YouTube to hear you better, and you can get more views here too, so everyone wins. Yeah, yeah, I've told them to come over. I think they're still, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing right this second. I don't know how many people are watching on YouTube or not to hear me. I'm not sure. And I don't know how bad I sound here in the Discord, guys, but Casual Verse is right. You know, if you can maybe able to hear me better.
Yeah, I
on...
was on YouTube, and I'm back on Discord. You don't sound that bad. Not as bad as it was when I got here. So.
Okay. Yeah, well, it reset again for some reason.
Have a little crack, but yeah, there's still a little cracky now and then, but it's okay.
Yeah, it reset again. I don't know why. I don't know why YouTube's doing, or I mean, Discord's doing this to me. It hadn't did this for a long, long time, and now all of a sudden it decides that it wants to start doing it again. So yeah. Anybody else have any questions? YouTube, Kick, Twitch. Sounds better? Well, that's even better yet. I don't know how, but... Or asset like the ones I'm in. Yeah. Oh, Casual Verse, are you Matt? And I just put that together. Imagine you are. I don't know about them assets, CX, ADT, GME. I don't trade any of those things. Okay, yeah, I figured you were. No, you're fine. I just put it together that's who you were. I don't know about any of those assets because I don't trade any of them. I'm going to assume that there's not a whole lot of difference. I'm going to assume that people still trade the same kind of strategies with any of the assets you're speaking about. And if they do, then there's still going to be stop losses and there's still going to be clusters of orders sitting in areas for, you know, whatever you want to say, the market makers or institutions or Steve to take advantage of, right? And as long as there are clusters of orders sitting there and there's people to take advantage of them, then they should move just the same. There shouldn't be any difference in it. Something else I do casual verse. I look for wicks to be put in too. And I'm not trying to confuse you even more, but if you're here enough, you'll hear me say things like that. What I'm talking about is wickless candles. Like this candle here, you expect a wick to be put on that candle because it doesn't have a wick. Is what this candle came down and did. Again, not saying that it won't go down more, but I always expect these wicks to be put in on candles that don't have wicks. It's something that I look at, something that I started noticing as time went on, so. All right, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, do you guys have any other questions? Almost noon. About time for me to shut you guys down. Let me know if anybody has anything else. Nothing, guys? Right, well, YouTube, Kick, Twitch. Hold on, for the lines. It's good to say I can expect them to be support resistance levels as well. Like wicks coming back and touching them on both ends. You want them to come below. You want the wicks to come below, Casual Burst. If you're going up, right? You want, because that's where your stop losses are going to be, is in the general vicinities. So the lines aren't a line per se, you know, it is because that's how I draw it out on my chart, but essentially it's kind of an area. So you want the wicks to actually come back and take out the stops. So like I showed here, your stops are in this area. When price comes back up here and these guys start going short, your stops are going to be up here above this area. So if you had an order block here, it'd be the order block. If you had, you know, supply here as I've drawn here, then that is your stop loss is above. If you have, you know, this line here, which would be resistance, like you're saying, right? That's what it looks like. Your stop losses are going to be above it. It's all the same thing. So all your stop losses are going to be right in this area right here. So what you're looking for is for these stop losses to get ran. Right? That's the whole point. Oh, you want this area to be hit. You want your wick. If you got a wick above, close below, you want your wick to come up and hit that area before making your move down. Why? Because you want them stops to be ran first. Same way going the other way. So if we get a close above, like we were just talking about, well, you've already grabbed the stops above. So say you're looking at this area, then you got to close below above. You're looking for your wick to come down and hit this area essentially and grab these stops before moving up. Why? Because now all your longs are stopped out by it coming down and hitting this area. So all the longs are stopped out. There's no longs running this no more. So what they're doing is grabbing them long orders there, stopping everybody out so that they can come up and sell them here. And then you'll say, okay, so what have they done? They've turned supply back on, essentially, because that's them selling. So the market makers come in, grab orders here to push price up. Again, it all depends on what your, you know, where your setup is, whether you're looking for a down wick or an up wick. So if you're at the top of a level and you're looking for a down wick because you're looking for a continuation play, basically you got to close your above then you want it to come down into this area and wick that and grab your stops first. So, and you just look at it like yourself. You know, if, and this is what I'm looking for, right? Let's move all this out of the way. Let's just clean some of this up so that you can kind of take it upon yourself how you do this. If this candle came up, like we just talked about, right? Okay, and you got involved, I don't even know where, right? It all depends on you as to where it is that you bought in, because everybody's going to place their orders in a different place because they've got different entry techniques. But this closes above, right? And you've entered long somewhere above this line because you want to go long here. Where's your stop loss going to be? You know, you can ask yourself. Why? Because most people look at it exactly the same. All the strategies that are out there, they're looking at it exactly the same. And normally your stop loss is going to be somewhere around this structure. Below this line, around this structure. So if you ask yourself where your stop loss would be when you enter, and I mean, I've even told guys this before. And I mean, again, this isn't my strategy. This isn't what I'm trying to teach you. But I say just like that old boy says, man, boy, we've said the same thing. You know where you're going to put your stop loss? Rather than putting your entry where you put your entry, just put your entry where your stop loss is. Where you plan on putting your stop loss, enter there instead. You won't believe how much your win rate will go up just by doing that. Just by saying, okay, I'm not going to, if I was going to enter right here, and my stop loss was going to be here, then I'll just put my entry here instead. You'd be surprised. I mean, that's not my strategy, because for me, when it's coming down, I don't want to enter long on the way down. That's the whole point. I'm looking for it to come down, take them stops, and then come back up. Right? Because there's nothing saying that's going up. If we look at this right here, and this candle comes in, and here's exactly what you're not looking for. This candle comes in and does something like this and recovers this, right? So here's how your next hour candle comes in. Here's what you're looking at, right? And here's kind of how I look at it. Everybody looks at it differently, but here's how I look at it, right? So this candle comes in, and it goes up first. Well, to me, all we've done is create a top wick. That's all we're doing. For what? In order for us to flip and continue bearish. That's what I'm expecting if we come up and we make a top wick. Am I going to trade that? No. No. You know, I'm not trading that. Why? Because that's not actually my setup. So just because it closes above doesn't mean that we're trading it long. And this is why a lot of times when I put my ranges out and I put these charts out, guys will just take a trade. Oh, buys above, closure. Okay, here you go. Well, we take a trade now. No. That's just your setup. You still have to have your entry. And your entry is going to be a wick down, grab the stops, continue up, flip the candle, and now we're off to the races. Why? Because we broke the highs. You want to make sure that you have clean range over here to recover, you know? And you're really looking at this top wick. So that's all the difference in the world. If this candle goes down like this, the stop loss will be too big. But if this candle went down like this, came back up and flipped bullish, well now, this wick is going to be all the way down here where our candle was. You know, this wick's going to be all the way down here like this. Now you can't take that trade because the stop loss is too big. There's a lot of reasons why we don't get involved, right? That's one of those things too. So I mean, essentially, this is just ideas for you guys to look at it as well. This doesn't necessarily mean, hey, you have to trade my exact entries. I mean, it's just something for you guys to wrap your head around how the market moves, how something works, right? It's not you know, hey, you have to enter how I enter. If you have different entry techniques, absolutely, that's perfect. But for me, that's just how I do it, right? And you can take from what I show every day exactly what works best for you and what makes more sense for you, what resonates with you. And that's a lot of the reason why I'm trying to get such a, you know, a big audience, because I'm hoping that there are people who pick up different thoughts and ways to make it work, right? And they can pass that on to other people. Some people it'll resonate with better. So I'm hoping to get plenty of people that pick things up and see different stuff and, you know, go from there with it. So simplistic way to view it is to wait 1 to 2 1-hour candles before entering if deemed entry worthy. Well, I mean, you're waiting for a close above. You want a top wick, so I mean that's one 1-hour close. You know, it could happen right now. Could have happened right now. Just saying. Okay, so now it's 12:07. You got your candle close, it's above. And now the first 7 minutes it's moved down to create your bottom wick. So now it starts moving back up at 12:10. You hit your entry. Right? I mean, you don't have to sit there for 1 or 2 hours depending on where the market is. You could sit here for 5 hours and never get an entry too. I mean, that's the flip side of it. But yeah, I mean, it's just, no, you don't have to wait for several candles, and you could do it on the 30 just the same. When you drop to the 30, you just got to make sure that you're looking at 30 levels, which these levels are fine, but you got to make sure you're looking at 30 levels because they could be a little different, and pay attention to where your 1 hour are. Because if you have a, you know, a structure that's crazy on the 30 and it's kind of choppy there, you're going to not want to trade exactly the same structure, because on the 30, your candles are going to be a little bit different for your flip and your wick and your flip. But you'll see that as you show up. Like I said, more days, the more time you're here and the more time you see it, the more you'll see it. I will, Jeff. I got to get off of, I got to shut YouTube down first. Thank you for the Village Ties varying by time frame. It's a great addition. Okay. Yep. And if nobody has any other questions, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Jeff's about to lose it over managing some trades live, and I won't do that on YouTube. Easiest way to define choppiness, yeah. The easiest way to define choppiness is just seeing sideways action right here. You were trading.
If you want to define choppiness, have a look at NAS at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of people try to put in ranges like this, and especially on a lower time frame, and that's why I say higher time frames. Okay, so let's clean all this up real fast. Oh, people like to put in something like this. Well, the problem is, right, and say that price is coming into this range instead. So here's where you're coming into, and we'll clean up the other one. And again, this is just demonstration, right? Let's go back. Let's just go back to gray with this. Okay. So here we are. Well, we'll go white so that you can see where it is. All right. So that's not your buys above, and we'll say this is your sells below. Let's just say for fun that somebody marked a chart up like this, because this is what everybody always says. Well, how do you find the ranges? Do you see what's wrong with this range? I mean, does everybody see? I mean, obviously you can call this a support and resistance range, but do you really want to trade this? We want to trade that? And that's the difference. When we're looking at our buys above, sells below, we're looking for this. Right? We're not looking for this. We don't want to trade that. Because look at what it did the whole time. You're getting wick down, you're getting wicks up, you're getting this sideways action, you're getting all these moves like this. This is not what you want to trade. So when you're looking at your ranges, you want to be on top of this area. You don't want to trade this. You want your buys above this, so that the area that you're recovering is this. That's what you want to be trading. See these moves? You can see them all day. See how they're different? That's what you want to be trading. So, I mean, for me, Does that make sense? Casual bursts. I mean, that's how you see choppiness. I mean, you can see choppiness. Same thing. You know what I mean? You can see where these choppy type levels are. This one's a little better. And like I said, they'll move areas, and you can see a big movement, then some choppiness, then a big movement, then some choppiness. And even if you measure them out, you'd be surprised. Oh, I forgot that other screen was up there. Even if you measure these moves out, you can see that measurement from here to here is going to be about the same as measurement from here to here. And that's essentially how the market moves as far as, you know, levels or whatever you want to say. So you can see that with the other strategies that you learn. You know, everybody's got stuff like that. What I'm looking for is not trading this. Why? Because I don't want to be in the market this long. If we come up here and we make a buy above, and it closes above, and you get a wick, and you get a bottom wick and a move up, will it eventually hit this top here? Probably. But how many hour candles is it going to take? See all this? How many hour candles is it going to take? You don't know. You know, and sometimes it's even worse than this. I mean, at least this one moved up at a decent degree here. But when you see stuff like that, that's not something I want to trade. I don't plan on being in a trade any more than about, 15 minutes tops. I don't want to sit here all day in a trade, honestly. I don't want it to give it time to go against it. Yeah, Jeff, I already said I have to shut YouTube down. I will. Just give me a second. So that's essentially what I'm looking at, casual verse. So for me, those are no trade ranges because I'm looking for an area that it'll move straight through pretty quickly. Because if you notice, if you look at a chart, you'll see that there's areas that it moves through quickly. About the same. I mean, you take, for instance, this move right here. Came up, and how did we move back down? Exactly the same. See how we moved down the same? That's because we're going to recover this move right here about the same as we put it on. See what I'm saying? So that's why we got this move down like this. Now, this would be the range that you'd be considering trading if you were trying to trade this. You want to trade this range, not this one. Because it's a range that price is going to move through easily without all the chop. So those are the areas in the chart we're looking for. Areas that'll move quick. Alright guys, so hopefully we get that. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow morning. YouTube, Twitch, Kick. Have a great afternoon. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Oh, hopefully you guys got something out of that. Have a great afternoon, guys.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression,
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5. No mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way. What I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about. Have your fucking cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round. Bitch, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease.